You all ready for this? Oh yeah.
Well guys, we're tucked back in the corner here again today, and last time when you were with me we pulled all the major components of the drivetrain of the 48 Fleetmaster right on out. I think where I want to start is on the third member, the driveline, the torque tube, and the rear axle. I've got shackles, bushings, oaky bushing, things like that, everything we really need to get it up and running again. But one thing I don't have, and I want to make sure I don't need, is bearings in the rear end, and gears, you know, anything in there. Because if you recall, no gear oil came out of the front of the torque tube when we dropped it down. So that could be a concern, but we're going to figure it out.
And as you can see, it was a surprise to me when I popped drums off that we had brand new looking brakes in here, or at least pretty new, you know. So I'm betting those are going to work. I don't know how long they've been there. I just don't know. But we're going to figure that out. So I'm going to start with taking the rear cover off, then we can slide the rear axles out. We'll take the gear set and the torque tube on forward, and we'll just look everything over. Now I kind of have an idea this thing was a Southern California car, because it looks like it was filled at the La Brea tar pits. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we find a mastodon floating around in here. We've got a newish brake line that kind of got put in the way there, but that's okay. I think we can work with it. Oh yeah. Woo! Heavenly aroma. I actually can probably get a good idea of the health of the gears in the pattern if you just give me 1 second. Alright, I broke my good flashlight here, so unfortunately I can't use that, but I think, well, I thought maybe with the gear oil I could get a good pattern. So normally on these teeth, you would want to see kind of a half moon shape in the center, you know. So in this case, maybe 3/4 or 3/4 of an inch long, and then kind of a half circle shape going towards the inside of the tooth. Obviously, this isn't the greatest way to do it. Kind of more like that one there. So first things first, I need to remove my spider gears. So we need to pull their pin. Take this out. Swing that around. May need a pliers. I don't know. Can't grab anything. It's a great James Garner quote, if you want to put that in here.
You want to grab something?
Everything looks too slippery.
I'm talking to myself.
What does that mean?
Well, nothing.
Well, yep. There we go. A little block out. We turn the gears out. Ooh, man, it's just like fudge. Yeah, like it. Okay, I'm gonna scoot. Can you still see? I don't really want to touch the camera right now. No. Okay. So now I'm gonna push in on my wheel hub at the brakes. There we go. Being stubborn, and I can get my clip out. And now we can pull the axle back out. There we go. I don't think I have wheel seals, so we'll have to get that, but we're going to be making a whole list. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. My hands are so awful. To be running a camera is just silly right now, so we'll reconvene. So next I want to disconnect the torque tube and the main third member gear set, hogshead, whatever you guys like to call it. Before I do that, I might as well pull my torque ball off. As I recall, this wasn't even tight. And there we go. Get that. My flange, and I might as well get my parking brake spring off. I did not bring my bushing removal tool. Let's see if that's an Okie bushing or just an old one. Just for fun. Okay, this thing is only that long, an inch long, so that is just an original style brash bushing with a seal. And I can see here actually that there's still a pin in it. So you lucky dogs get to see me deal with that. Alright, so there are drill bits around, but I have no idea of their quality and their condition. And there are cordless drills around. They're all 20-year-old Black & Deckers, and batteries I'd have to look for and charge. So I'm just gonna just wait till I bring my own stuff to do the bushing. Right now today this is more about tearing it down and just seeing what I need to, what kind of parts I need to be looking for here. But don't worry, before you're done with this video, you'll have seen it all. Remind me next time I cut off a hunk of bologna why it tastes so funny. Oh boy, she's wanting to move, and I mean now. She's wanting to separate. All right. a feeling my rear axle is going to go somewhere. Hopefully it just rolls forward. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're not a good stick. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Just stop. Ay. Like it. That's awesome. Brilliant. Alright, I want to get this torque tube cleaned up. Before we do that, I want to get the bushing out. So we've got to drill this pin out. Now in your manuals, your old factory manuals, it'll say you're going to put a pin back in. What they did, they would drive the new bushing in, hit the bushing with a drill bit, so you're putting an indentation and index into the bushing itself, and then drive a new pin in. And then you would peen the pin over so it would be stuck in place. We are not going to do any of that. Since the Okie from Muskogee invented the Okie bushing, no, I don't know who did, that is no longer necessary, and that was a really bad centering job. But we're going to punch this if I can get it in the center, which so far I cannot. We're going to drill it out, and then we're going to pull the bushing out. Okay, I heard the drill bit change. Yep, we're getting brass or bronze or whatever it is out of there. Alright, there we go. So a guy was just horsing around, put the puller in there, and she popped right out, so that's easy one to get out, which is always a nice thing. Honestly, a guy could have used a 90-degree pick or something and pulled that out. So hopefully, if you have to do this, you'll get lucky as well. Now there is an inner seal in here and another bushing. They are that far in, and my new oaky bushing will go all the way up to them but not interfere with them. So that is a great thing. I wanted to see how this felt. I don't know if I'm going to have to turn this one down too or not. It's going to be tight, but hopefully it'll go in there. Okay, once again, it seems like every job there's something that I'm just not going to do because I don't have to. If I don't have to change out good, original, US made bearings, I'm certainly not going to. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not changing them for the sake of changing them and putting lesser quality bearings in. If you need to, if your gears are messed up, maybe you're changing to modern highway gears, maybe your bearings are messed up, whatever the case, you're going to have to get this pin, goes all the way through, drill that out, grind the head off, whatever, drive it out, then you can separate your pinion from the drive shaft. You got a nut, your first bearing, spacer, second bearing. But like I say, everything here is looking great, so we're just going to go back with it. Alright, so I brought this dude home because I don't have a press at the other shop. They have little provisions, little notches under the bearing there for you to get a puller in. And I'm pushing on it. I just have this set of bearing and seal installer doohickeys, you know. So I may have to get something or other to put in there. How about a sledgehammer handle? It's the closest thing I got. Get a little how about go like, if I had a 20-foot workbench, it'd work better. There we go. Put that against my hip. I think I'm just pulling on the cage. So for that to grab, it had to sit cockeyed because the width of my jaws is wider than the slots they provide there. Then I had another set that the jaws are narrower, but they're so small that they don't even want to reach around. It just wasn't going to work. So I may have to start looking for the correct puller, you know, the old Kent Moore. For now, we're going to do this the old Army way. Brute force. I was not expecting that to happen. got quite a mess to clean up now. Now, Johnny come lately, let's see what you got. I almost think that thing is too big. Hello. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell. The part numbers have transferred themselves from the back of the race to the carrier. Hyatt. Made in USA. Yeah, there's Hyatt. I just barely started tapping this one and it just came off. You Alright, these bearings, and in fact I believe everything I have bought for the differential and the axle portion of this job came from the filling station. And I think everything for the torque ball end up front, yeah, that one did the same thing. That all came from Chevs of the 40s. So it doesn't look like our bearing was ever spinning on the hub, but that makes me nervous that it's that loose. So with this awesome rig here, I am going to stipple, it's quite a word, eh? Stipple the hub here. Basically, I'm just going to use a center punch many times all around, and hopefully that'll tend to make enough surface area or enough distortion really that'll tend to grab the inner race when we press it back on. So I'm just going to do this all the way around, a couple rows of them. Now for a little bit of extra insurance, I'm going to put some Permalock on here. I think engine machinists, they have a special product they use on cylinder sleeves when they're re-sleeving an engine. And I think that would be an excellent product to use in this situation if I had it. Which I don't. It is definitely going on tighter. Alright, I am much happier with how that felt. Basically, I can't pull it off by hand, you know, so always a good thing. Alright, now I think one of the last things we're going to do together on this video is disassemble just a couple more things on the rear axle spring assembly. These the bushings all need to come out. I am replacing all those. The rear ones have the shackle, and you got some stuff, you know, you can bang on and so forth to help you remove them. You know, they're easier than the front ones is what I'm trying to say. So if these rubbers are a little stubborn, you can even slip a thin knife blade in there, help you cut them. Let's see if I can get this one out. Jam something between the spring eye and the rubber and try to just pop her out of there. Rear ones really shouldn't give you a whole bunch of problems. This shackle was pretty stubborn to get out, but we got it. Okay, now this front one can be a different situation altogether. The steel sleeve pressed into the spring eye likes to be hermetically sealed. I mean, it was just done very tightly in there, as you'll see when we go back together also. I suppose you can try coming in and cutting with a hacksaw blade. You know how cutting through a rubber bushing, how that's going to grab, and then cutting the sleeve seems like a lot of trouble, but you know, you can do that, put it back together and go at it that way. I suppose a guy could even try to cut some of this out with a torch, as long as you know you don't get into the spring. And there again, a lot of caution should be exercised, because you really don't want to be heating up your spring with a torch and ruin that what am I trying to say? You really don't want to be ruining the heat treatment, the spring ability, the spring of the steel. And at the end of the day, when you're trying to cut a bushing out, a rubber bushing with a torch, you know how it is. Your shop ends up looking like Iraq in the fall of 1990. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is just go at this with an air hammer or air chisel, however you want to look at it. And we are just going to try to get it taken apart in pieces. So I'm going to go after the center sleeve first. And you know, if it all happens to just come out, great, obviously. Try to use the little hammer bit there, only goes so far. There's the inner sleeve. I'm going to go after the rubber. Whoa, she's out of here. All right. Now all I have left is the outer sleeve, the difficult one. So I'm going to try to bend or collapse it. Try not to hit myself. Get you in a little closer here. Just want to get to where I can grab something with the chisel. And actually, if you can start cutting a groove through the sleeve material, so much the better. There, we started to bite in. Come on. Well, we had a good start, but it stopped. There she comes. You can see I was just putting the point of the chisel into the side wall and just trying to use that to motivate it. Okay, last thing I want to do, and by the way, you can probably tell that I have been soaking this thing down with engine degreaser. The original, you know, just soaking everything down, getting it loosened up for a guy. To try a axle seal puller here. I would really like to find the original style for these cars, the Kent Moore kit, but that's one of those things you just don't find on the eBay machine, so at least not yet. Okay, I think this small one is the one I want. Tighten her up. I'm just going to pop the bearing out with the seal. Well, didn't hold it. Wonder if I should try the next bigger one. I don't know. I'll see if it fits. Oh yeah, she can do it. Sorry, I know this thing's swinging around on you guys a lot. I had to make an adapter. These bearing pullers are 5/8, they're fine thread 5/8 internal thread, and I had many options between slide hammers, but nothing was 5/8 fine thread, so I don't know what they're doing that for, but there we go. What's it say? The old Made in USA. It's a Hyatt. And if I wasn't blind, I don't think that was a number, was it?
I'm glad I didn't do that other one first and then just record this one. That wheel seal from this side was hermetically sealed. I mean, that held the bearing in tight. It was not coming out. I had to resort to the air chisel and get that seal out of there. But anyway, we got it. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming along. Like I said, I'm going to clean this up. We'll refinish it, repaint it, and next time on this 48 Chevy, we will be together to put everything back together. Okie bushing, drive shaft back in, getting that clamped in, ring and pinion, well, the ring gear, getting all that set, going back to the rear axle, maybe even putting it back up in the car. We'll see. I have to get my links for my rear shock absorbers off yet, or the broken pieces thereof, therein, you know. So I'll do that real quick. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you guys. It's good to be back on a 48 Chevy, isn't it? We'll see you next time. It's starting to look like the tar pit's in here.